Hi and welcome back for another Cottage Cuts YouTube video tutorial and giveaway. This is Marla with Mad About Cards and Crafts, and today I'm bringing you a floral slimline card featuring the Easel Sign with flowers that was part of the Sweet Treats release available now in the Scrap and Cottage. Here's a look at those dies that I used on my card. I did create a slimline card as I mentioned and used the pinking sheer edge Slimline. I used the middle die cut and then I used the Botanical Gardens 2. You can see that this is a solid die cut. It is pretty unassuming when you're looking at it on the packaging, but I'm going to show you just how beautiful it is as I use it on my swag today. This Easel Sign with flowers, what I really like about this is it was created kind of as a storefront. So we did have the candy cart and we also had the bake shop dies, which this worked perfectly for the front of those. But this die is super versatile. I like versatility in dies, and I think that this one is perfect to create the center of attention on a card, which is what I'm going to use it for today. I am adding some Versa Fine Black Onyx ink over the top. You could certainly cut this out of black cardstock. Black cardstock to me would be a little bit flat. Adding the Versa Fine is going to add a little bit more of a gloss to it. I originally thought that I was going to heat emboss my sentiment over the top of that, and so that was my original intent when I started this card. Unfortunately, I am away from home and I realized I didn't have a heat gun to melt my embossing powder, so I had to kind of switch it around and recut it back out of white cardstock and then stamp my sentiment on top of that. But I did want to show you that option for the chalkboard. One of the things that I appreciate about CottageCutz dies, I talk about this over and over again, is the attention to detail in these dies. There is a naturally embossed and cut wood grain, and over that wood grain I did use an E27, which would be my darkest marker, and then I'm going over the entire edge of the frame with my E25, blending that out. I'll add that E25 around the edges just to make sure that none of that white is showing, and then I'm going to glue my chalkboard piece to the top. Another idea for that chalkboard would be to take some white perfect pearls if you have them and just run your finger lightly across the front of that chalkboard, or you could also use some white pigment ink. That would work well and that would help give that chalkboard feel as well. Because there is still a little bit of white space showing once I added that chalkboard piece, I am going around the edges with my darkest shadow, which is going to be that E27 to finish off my easel. This card is 8 3/4 by 3 3/4. I like to have a nice edge. I wanted to have some pattern paper behind it, so I did use some striped pattern paper from my stash and the pinking sheer edge slimline to cut out my pattern paper. I want to pop up my easel, and I want you to pay particular attention to how I'm doing this. So I did cut that foam tape really thin so that it fit around the bottom edge of the frame, and then I'm adding the full strips of foam tape around just the chalkboard area. And the reason that I chose not to add it all the way down the edge of the frame is because I want to tuck my floral pieces underneath. So I wanted this to have a little bit of a lift, which is what that foam tape is going to give it, but it's also going to give me room to tuck those little floral pieces on the left and the right side of it. This is the reason that I chose to use this particular die. I wanted to really highlight it as the center of my card, so adding that foam tape is going to help it stand out even more as I create my composition. I am going to mimic the left and the right side of this chalkboard using the floral pieces that I did color off camera. I went with some really bright colors. I love summertime. I love creating floral cards, and so I wanted to make sure that this was really with that black and white in the background. I wanted to make sure that those flowers were popping off the card. Now, visual triangles are really important when you're creating a card, and so by having the balance on the left and the right side, it allows me to finish my triangle with a single flower at the top of my chalkboard, or my easel, whichever one you want to call it, and I'm going to start gluing down my pieces. When I do my gluing, I'm only gluing the middle of my flowers so that those leaves are free, or the petals I should say, are free to move, and the same is going for my leaves. So I only add the glue to the edges, and it allows me to fluff up my card so that it has a little bit of dimension without adding dimensional tape. So the chalkboard again is going to stand out just a little bit more because it does have that sturdy foam tape, but the flowers are also going to have a lot of movement because there is only just a tad bit of glue on the very end as I tuck them in underneath the chalkboard. I did mention that this was a giveaway, and in order to participate in the giveaway, you do need to leave a comment, like the video, and make sure that you're a subscriber. We have been so excited to share these videos with you, and so excited that you've been participating in the giveaways. This week's giveaway is Mindy Baldwin. Mindy Baldwin is the winner of the Ice Cream Builder die. I will have Mary Marsh's information linked in the description box below, and you can email her, let her know that you are the winner from my video, and she will make sure that you get your prize. So congratulations to you, and if you want to win this easel die with flowers, make sure that you do, as I mentioned, leave a comment, like, and subscribe. All right, so my floral composition is almost complete. I felt like I needed a little bit more dimension on the center flower, so I did die cut and color another one, and then I just offset it, and you can see by adding that extra layer on top, it gave it so much more dimension, and it really helped it stand out with the other flowers that are flanking it. I had a piece of grass from that Botanical Gardens 2 die, and I thought that it would be really pretty tucked in, so I colored it with a kind of a magenta Copic marker. All of my flowers have been colored with Copic markers, and I'm just tucking it in the center on the left and the right side. There's a look at the dimension that I was able to achieve without any foam tape on those flowers, and you can see that I did stamp my sentiment with using the white sign. Thank you so much for watching today, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.